Thank your body. A small story. A middle-aged woman suffered a heart attack and was taken to the hospital. While on the operating table, she had a near-death experience. During the experience, she happened to see God. She asked him if this was the end of her life. God replied that she had another 30 or 40 years to live. Once she recovered, she decided to stay in the hospital to undergo multiple surgeries, such as a facelift, jaw reconstruction, a nose job, and removal of excess fat. She also colored her hair. She thought that since she was going to live for 30 more years, she would start with a fresh look. She finished the surgeries and was about to walk out of the hospital when she was run over by the hospital ambulance and killed. She arrived before God and asked him, "God, I thought you told me I had another 30 years to live." God replied, "Sorry, but I didn't recognize you." Each human being is a unique masterpiece of God. That is why no two bodies look alike. God is not an engineer. He is an artist. That is why each of us looks different. If he was an engineer, he would have made us all with the same mold, like in a production line. He has uniquely created each one of us. But we never feel that we are beautiful enough. We constantly compare ourselves with others and try to look like them. We never make our body feel it is beautiful. Our body is influenced by the thoughts we entertain about it. Every cell responds to our thoughts and feelings about it. If we feel gratitude towards our body responds by improving our health. If we hate our body, the body responds by shrinking with disease. It is just like the effect of our thoughts on other human beings. If we encourage people, they work better. Only because of this body are you able to now sit and hear this talk. The fact that you are here reading these words is because of your body. Then how can you abuse it or take it for granted? If you just look around, you will see there are people born without an arm or a leg. There are people who were born without eyesight or lose their eyesight in an accident. We have everything, and yet we take it all for granted. Sometimes people who have a physical handicap are more grateful than those who have a perfect body. The handicapped person knows what it is to miss a body part, so he is automatically grateful to the other body parts. In the Sufi tradition, they have a beautiful meditation where every morning as soon as they wake up, they touch their body parts one after another and feel deep gratitude to every single part. They touch every part from head to foot with great love and gratitude. This is a wonderful meditation that can be practiced by everyone. You will see that your body starts looking more and more beautiful, and it will also heal from any discomfort very easily. Everything is auspicious, just celebrate it. One thing has to be understood very clearly. The whole of existence is an auspicious happening. You are part of existence, so everything happening around you is also auspicious. This is the truth of existence. Nothing that happens in existence is inauspicious. Everything is only a blessing. If this is understood clearly, there is nothing to complain about in life. If this is understood clearly, your very eye becomes a grateful eye. It sees everything as extraordinary. Nothing appears mundane. Everything appears as a miracle. A small story. One day a duck hunter went to the market to buy a bird retriever dog. To his amazement, he found a dog that could walk on water. He immediately took it home. He invited one of his friends to hunt the next day and took the dog. When a flock of ducks came near, he took aim, fired, and silently watched. The dog walked on the water and retrieved the bird. He looked at his friend for a reaction, but the friend remained silent. He asked him, "Do you see anything unusual about my dog?" The friend replied, "Yes, your dog is unable to swim. Miracles are continuously happening in front of our eyes, but we continuously miss them. Only because we miss them, life itself appears to be dull sometimes. When we start perceiving them, our will always be much more than who we really are. The inner world identity, is what we believe we really are. This identity will usually be much less than what we actually are. This is what we refer to as low self. Entire life becomes a miracle. The truth is, there are too many miracles happening around us in our lives. If we celebrate the three things, the existence of the self, world, and God, We will experience the whole of existence as a blessing that is happening continuously. Let me explain. When you celebrate the existence of the self, God and world, all three will reveal their mysteries to you. Please understand that when I say celebrate the self, God and world, I am not giving you moral advice. I am giving you a spiritual technique. The first step: you will never be able to realize or understand yourself until you accept yourself and celebrate what you are. As long as you fight with what you are, you will never be able to realize what you really are. Usually we carry two identities within ourselves. One is the outer world identity, and the other is the inner world identity. The outer world identity is what we present to the world, as how we want the world to see us, how we want to be recognized, how we want to present ourselves. This identity, esteem, your whole life is nothing but the fight between these two identities. You constantly try to fulfill your outer world identity, and this is in conflict with the inner world identity. The struggle between you and you, the struggle between these two identities, eats your whole life. It is time to stop this struggle. It is time to just celebrate whatever you are. Just accept and celebrate whatever you are, and you will see that you slowly realize the real self. Self-realization is postponed again and again only because of the fight between these two identities. The moment you stop the fight between them, you will see that both of them disappear into the realization. The two identities exist only because of the non-acceptance in you. So just accept whatever you are in the outer world and in the inner world. Just accept and say a deep yes to you as you are. Suddenly you will see that both these identities have no utility or purpose for you. They simply disappear. They leave your body. They disappear from your very inner space. Then you accept and celebrate yourself as it is. You understand that you neither need to develop the self in the outer world, nor do you need to develop it in the inner world. Out of this understanding, suddenly you will see that the self will be realized. In the next step, we come to the celebration of the world. Understand that all the difficulties and problems between you and the world are because you do not look at the world as a mystery. You continuously try to demystify the world with your logic. You try to understand the world with your intellect instead of celebrating it, accepting it, enjoying it. You analyze, segregate, and try to bring it under your control. It is not possible to achieve this. It is too vast and too intelligent. It is meant to be enjoyed and not analyzed. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, an enlightened master from India, tells a beautiful story. Two men entered a mango grove. One of them sat and counted the number of trees. He studied the variations in their size, the number of branches, density of leaves, and number of mangoes across the trees. He tried to determine the varieties of mangoes. He thought about where they would sell, what would be the cost at sea. The other man simply ate a few mangoes, enjoyed himself, and then left. When you have entered the world, understand you have entered the mango grove. If you continuously use your logic to analyze and judge and try to bring things under your control, you will miss the whole thing. I have seen people who can't enjoy a resort unless it is owned by them. They can't enjoy anything unless it is legally owned by them. Their logic has to conquer things. Only then they can enjoy anything. Your logic does not have to conquer everything. You don't need to own things to enjoy them. Trying to understand the world is nothing but trying to intellectually own the whole of existence, the whole world. Trying to understand intellectually is also nothing but trying to possess, trying to own intellectually. You will never be able to celebrate if you follow this path. Just accept and celebrate existence with all its different dimensions and paradoxes. Don't judge anything. You continuously judge what is going on as something is right or something is wrong. Something should have happened this way or something should not have happened this way. BECOME. Aware that whatever happens in existence is auspicious. In Sanskrit, the word Shiva means causeless auspiciousnesses. Shiva is also the name of a Hindu god. For no reason in particular, auspiciousness is overflowing all the time. You too are continuously expanding and growing, whether you accept it or not. Every birth, every action, every single incident happening in your life is increasing your frequency, raising your intelligence. Causeless expansion is happening in you also. but you may or may not experience it this way. That is a different thing. In the whole world, there are only two kinds of people. The first kind feels that whatever is happening in the world is against their will, and things have to be slightly altered all the time. Such people will try to alter, judge, criticize, and develop the things happening in the world according to their ideas. There is the other group, a rare group, that feels that whatever is happening is auspicious, Shiva-like. Whoever feels what happens is auspicious, live in Shiva consciousness, in eternal bliss, in celebration. The other group continuously suffers because it tries to change things all the time. Everything has a message for us, including death and disease. Everything hath something to teach us. Every incident raises our intelligence, raises our frequency of consciousness. In the whole drama of the cosmos, anything that happens in our life brings auspiciousness to us. It adds to us. All we need to do is look at the world as a mystery, as an intelligent mystery. A small story. There was a certain village isolated and surrounded by acres of cornfields. The city was very far from it, so it remained very quiet. One morning the villagers saw a sage whom they had never seen before in the village. He was seated under a banyan tree. They asked him where he came from. He told them, "I have come to spend a few days with all of you whom I consider my own brothers." The villagers were happy to hear this and built a small hut for him. Soon the sage started healing and solving many problems of the villagers. Once an epidemic struck the village and killed many birds there. The villagers reported this to the sage. He said, "It is sad that you lost so many birds, but if you have faith in existence and pray, the loss may actually be a matter of gain." The villagers didn't agree fully with him, but since they respected him, they went away quietly. The next week, suddenly, all the dogs in the village ran away. The villagers got upset again, because the dogs used to guard the village against burglars. They went to the sage and reported this to him. He only repeated his message: "If you have faith in existence and pray, even this loss may prove to be a gain." A few days later, a very strange thing happened. In those days, there were no matchboxes. People used to rub two stones together to make fire or keep a fire alive in their ovens continuously. One day, all the fires in all of the households went out. They tried to start a fire by rubbing stones, but nothing happened. They got very disturbed. They went to the sage again and told him what was happening. The sage told them, "It looks like some very special phenomenon is taking place." The villagers started doubting the sage. They started wondering in what way the sage was superior to them, and whether he was in any way qualified to tell them such things. Some of the villagers proceeded to the next village to get some fire, but the sage stopped them, sternly saying that they should not go. Early the next morning, some of the villagers started making their way to the next village anyway. Suddenly, they saw something like a sandstorm in the distance. After a few moments, they could see it was actually a large invading army on horseback. They were on their way plundering the city and the villages surrounding it. The villagers hid behind trees and watched them. The army stopped the head of the village and one of them screamed, "Let us invade this village too." Another person said, "No use will come out of it. There is no bird that chirps even so early in the morning. No dog barks. No smoke comes out of the chimney of any house. It doesn't look like a single soul lives there." The army turned back and went away. The hiding villagers ran back to the village and told the villagers what had happened. They suddenly realized how true the sage was all along. They went to the sage's hut to tell him everything, but the hut was empty. The sage had left. Nobody knew where he had gone. Existence is not an accident. It is independent intelligence. When you understand that it is an independent intelligence, when you understand that it is a profound mystery to be experienced and not solved, everything in your life will open itself and reveal to you the lesson it has brought with it. When suffering comes to you, if you approach it with non-acceptance, with resistance, it will create only pain in you. It will add only suffering to you. If you approach the same suffering with deep respect and gratitude, suddenly you will see that it reveals its mysteries to you. It will show you the reason why it happened in your life and the lesson it brought to you in your life. If you approach the suffering with acceptance and intelligence, suddenly you will see that the very suffering gives you enlightenment. It adds joy and experience to your life. Everything happening in the world is auspiciousness, including what you call natural calamities. There is no such thing as inauspiciousness. Natural calamities are nothing but nature's ways of adjusting itself to certain actions of human beings. So accept and celebrate the very existence of the world. In the third step, we come to celebrating God, the root and the source for the other two steps that are the self and the world. As long as you carry doubt or faith about the existence of God, you won't experience God. Just like doubt, faith is also an obstacle. I have seen people who believe but never try to experience God. They continue to have faith but never experience God. So now, drop your doubt and your faith about God's existence or non-existence. Even if you believe in God's existence, you will have only an idea about Him, that He will have 10 hands or 18 heads, that He is tall or short. Whatever idea you may have, even those ideas can be hindrances to finally experiencing God. So drop your faith and doubt. Just remember that if there is a creation, there should be a creator. The moment you see an object in front of you, you know that the creator of the object exists, is it not? If the creation exists, the creator also exists. Even the word creator does not exactly fit God. He is simply creativity overflowing for no reason. That's all. He is just constant creativity that is expanding. Yes. Constant Big Bang. A constant black hole that is happening. The creation, the created, and the creator, all three express as just creativity. God is creativity. So celebrate the existence of creativity. Unless creativity exists, creation cannot happen. The very existence of creation is solid proof that the creator or creativity exists. Creativity is not a set of dead rules. It is an intelligent independence. It is intelligence and independence. So just celebrate the existence of that independent intelligence. Celebrate the existence of God as creativity. When you celebrate the existence of these three, self, world, and God, suddenly you will see that these three barriers were created only by your unconscious mind. There is no barrier, there is just pure existence, pure consciousness, pure celebration. Living with the clarity that self, world, and God are not three things but the single core of existence, and celebrating the existence of this one core is what I call living enlightenment. If you celebrate the existence of all these three, self, world, and God, you will suddenly see that only celebration exists. All the three disappear into the celebration. When all these three disappear into celebration, what remains is what I call eternal bliss, Nityananda. The boundaries between these three exist only as long as the not accepting or the fighting ego exists. The moment non-acceptance disappears, acceptance happens and ego disappears. Suddenly only celebration remains. Some people ask me, how do we express our deep gratitude to you? I tell them that the only way to express their gratitude is to live enlightenment the way I have just described it to you. That is the best you can do for me, and that I can do for you. The reason why you feel so much gratitude towards me is because only when an enlightened master happens in your life do you start knowing what gratitude is. Until then, gratitude remains just a social habit from your periphery. When the master happens, when the transformation starts, you start feeling a movement inside you, a deep joy, an inexplicable feeling not from your periphery, but from your being. That feeling is gratitude. That is what is called devotion. You cannot express it with words. That is the beauty of real gratitude. Just relax into it and allow it to transform you. It will transform you from your being. That is enough. Then the work of the master is done. People ask me, what service can we do for the mission? I tell them, the greatest service one can do to the world is working for the flowering of one's own consciousness. Once this happens, automatically, you will serve where required, not out of ego, but because you are celebrating and overflowing. Then it is not called service. It is just an overflowing. That is the way service should happen, not as a giving, but as a spontaneous sharing. People generally do service to gain credit. Society has taught us that service will get us a place in heaven, that service will somehow nullify our bad deeds. No, Service will not reserve any place for us in heaven. Heaven does not run any exchange offer for us in this fashion. When you overflow within yourself, you automatically feel there is nothing more to be done, and you start serving, that's all. The overflowing does not have anything to do with your material wealth or anything. It has to do with the state within you, the state of causeless bliss, of gratitude towards the whole. Service, when done in this way, can itself lead you to enlightenment.